Hey everybody, this is part two of the video I said I was going to do about the Greg Hardy incident. And start right off, as you all know, I think today they released the photos or yesterday they released the photos from the Greg Hardy incident that happened last year where he threw his girlfriend on a bed of guns or whatever and assaulted her. You saw the photos. If you haven't, Deadspin, I think .com has them. Other websites, they're all over the place. And you can see the bruises on her under her chin, the bruises on her back, arm, legs, everywhere. And I'll just get right into it. For what happened I think a couple weeks ago with Greg Hardy when he was on the sidelines, right after the Cowboys just gave up a kickoff return to the Giants, and he goes into the huddle of the special teams, and while the special teams coach is getting his guys ready for a kickoff again, or a punt return, I can't remember which one, and he goes in there, he smacks his clipboard out of his hand and yelling at him, and they're trying to get him out of the way, and the special teams coach is like yelling at him, like, "What are you doing?" And you see him on the sideline arguing with Dez Bryant and everything like that. And then Jerry Jones comes out and says, he's just a fiery player. He's a leader on this team and blah, blah, blah. Knowing his incident that happened, with his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend now. And now with these photos coming out, in my honest opinion, based on what the NFL has done previously, he deserves to be suspended indefinitely. The incident with Greg Hardy, and then what he said about, I think, when they played the Patriots and said that I hope Gisele's watching and like other teams' wives are watching because of what he's done and stuff. He wants them to watch, and he's never apologized for the incident that had happened. It just seems like a very disturbed human being for doing that to his girlfriend. I don't know what caused it, but it just definitely appears he's a defensive end. He's like 6'4", 6'5". She's not that big, so clearly there was no chance for her to try to defend herself. And now you have a situation at the NFL. This comes right back up again for the NFL and how they're going to deal with this now with the photos out. We all saw what happened with Ray Rice. When the incident happened, we all knew it happened, but there was no video produced yet. He was suspended for 2 games, and whatever. Then the video comes out. He gets suspended indefinitely. The Ravens have to cut him. The Ravens didn't look good for it. I said it before. Everybody saw the video for the Ray Rice incident. They knew what happened. They just didn't. There was no backlash. There was no one coming out against the NFL or whatever for what they did. So they just like, whatever. Let's move on with it. But then everybody saw it. All the women groups come out, and everybody goes on Twitter and Facebook and then just slamming the NFL and the Ravens and for what they did and defending it. And they go out and they pretty much knee-jerk reaction and go ahead and suspend him indefinitely. He hasn't played in the NFL since. But since that incident, he had Adrian Peterson get suspended for, I think, the rest of the season last year, but still gets paid. He was on the commissioner's exempt list. The Vikings didn't cut him even after the photos come out of him abusing his, I think, 2 or 3-year-old son. You can see the bruises on him. Then with the Greg Hardy incident that happened, whether no photos came out, he was suspended for I think 10 games last year, but was still on the commissioner's exempt list, was still able to get paid his salary. And now the photos have come out of Greg Hardy. Now the question is, what does the NFL do? I guarantee you the Cowboys are going to say, well, he already served his time. He was suspended 10 games, I think, like last season, and then he was suspended another 4 games this year. So they're going to say he served his time, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't deserve to be suspended indefinitely again. But the NFL and what they've done as of late with players of Ray Rice and other players in domestic abuse cases have released them indefinitely from the NFL and their teams. But it basically now comes to say that as long as you're a star player or a first-string guy, let it slide. That seems to be the case. You look at what happened with Adrian Peterson, like I said. The NFL suspended him, but the Vikings didn't cut him. A lot of people were asking for, Plenty of parents around the nation were pretty sure asking for Adrian Peterson to be cut from the Vikings. Vikings didn't cut him among all the pressure that he received. Didn't cut him. Cowboys, even after the incident happened, signed Greg Hardy, knowing that this thing was still pending with his investigation and things like that. Like they were still looking, blah blah blah. They said we'll still sign him anyway. Don't care. We're going to sign him. Plenty of players have gotten plenty of second chances over the years for these domestic abuse cases, but because if they're a good player, everybody looks the other way. Fans too. Fans look the other way when it comes to those guys. Well, he was probably drunk or they'll find any excuse they can to kind of defend the guy that's on their team as long as they win. And that's the problem we've gotten to in this country is that winning is now everything. That no matter what you do, what heinous crime you may have committed, winning is everything. And all this lip service the NFL has paid the fans saying, oh, we're doing this to support, we're doing the videos that they put out last year about, say something if you see somebody being abused and things like that, and the players showing their tears and all this other stuff. It's all lip service. The NFL does not care at all about domestic abuse, women's health, or anything like that. The Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October is the biggest crock of mess I've ever seen in my life. All this pink they have out there. The only reason they do it is because ever since they started the breast cancer awareness thing, they have the female demographic for women have gone up. Like the last 4 years, it's the biggest rising market in NFL right now. It's the women's market, and now you're starting to see Levi and all these other and Kohl's and all these other stores now. And clothing manufacturers are now making female clothing, sweaters and jean jackets and things like that, and lounge pants and things. They're making all this stuff now for women. They didn't used to make that stuff before, but now they're like, oh, it's a huge market. Let's make some money. And that's all that they care about. Okay, but when it comes down to the actual issues that affect women, you got players out there who represent the NFL and their respective football teams out there abusing women, okay, and hitting them and doing whatever, and you're going to keep them on the team. You're going to keep them on the squad because they're a good player. Now, what's funny to me is just this week, Joseph Randle, for the Dallas Cowboys, who was the second-string running back, just got cut because of some domestic issues. He got cut from the team. How about Greg Hardy now? Now, I know people will say he served his time, blah, 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 but now the photos are out. Now everybody can see it. Now let's see what happens with the Cowboys when these other groups come in. I guarantee you won't be cut. I guarantee the NFL won't do anything either. They'll say, we did our part. You got suspended 14 games. But at the same time, he didn't lose a paycheck over it. It's one thing you get suspended like 14 games, like which he did. 10 games last season, 4 games this year. It's one thing you get suspended 14 games. But he didn't lose a paycheck because of it either. He didn't lose a paycheck. He still got paid. Ray Rice lost his paycheck. He had to go to court to get that back. So that's my thing. The NFL and his handing down its punishments and things like that, it's totally hypocritical. They don't care. They really don't. And then you had the situation with Brandon Marshall when he tried to wear, I think, green cleats because everybody knows he's been dealing with a bipolar disorder his whole life, and he's recovering and he's learning how to manage it. And he's like, mental health issues are a big part, of what causes that he definitely fights for. And he wanted to wear green cleats to, that's the color for mental health awareness. And the NFL, no, you can't wear that. Then D'Angelo Williams, because his mom has cancer, has cancer, breast cancer, he wanted to wear, past October, he wanted to wear pink all year long just before his mom. NFL said, you're not allowed to. Are you serious? So it's like, for guys who actually want to do the right thing, you're going to find them who want to do the right thing and bring awareness to people who have the position as NFL superstars to bring awareness to certain issues and causes that no one else normally would pay attention to, and we find them for being good guys. But when we look at Greg Hardy and all these other guys that have gotten these second chances, we're saying, oh, but because they're a good football player and because they're a talented football player, we'll look the other way. We don't want to take them off the field. That's revenue. That's money. I guarantee you, if it was like Cam Newton, Peyton Manning, or Aaron Rodgers, or Tom Brady for that matter, Tom Brady went off hauled off and hit Giselle in the face, I guarantee you the NFL would find some way to make sure the Patriots didn't cut him and he wasn't out of the NFL. Okay? If it was a second, third string guy, no one would have cared. He'd been out of the NFL yesterday. But because it's Greg Hardy and he's got like 4 sacks in 3 games or something, he's been playing well for the Cowboys. He got an interception. Last week he's been playing great. There's no doubt about it. He's been playing great for the Cowboys. But the fact of the matter is the guy's a woman beater. He beats women. And you don't know when this woman could have died. You know, he had guns all over the place. You don't know what drove this man. You saw it on the field. This guy has anger issues. You know, it's one thing as a society, though. The other point of that is, as a society, we get so outraged when football players do this kind of stuff. But then we forget this is the nature of their sport, especially on the defensive side of the ball. These guys, since they were little kids, have been coached to be like, you go out there and you hit that guy as hard as you can. You go out there with some intensity. You go out there and I want you to injure him. I want you to take him out of the game. They've been told, plenty of games and plenty of times that they have to go out there and inflict some type of punishment on guys. You look at the Saints where they had the Bounty Gate incident. These guys were betting on who could hurt the quarterback, who could hurt the running back, who delivered the hardest hit. These guys are paid to deliver punishment. When these guys go home and they get into heated arguments or anything like that, when they need sibling or spouse or girlfriend or anything like that, you can't be surprised when stuff like this happens. It's really hard, especially like when guys are police officers or soldiers. Like we saw the Chris Kyle movie, the Sniper, the American Sniper. Every time he came home from the war, he was so distant from his family. You could see it. Like he just didn't connect. He brought it home with him. When you are involved in a job where violence is the everyday norm, it's really hard not to come home and say, I'm just going to leave it at work. It's not like the rest of us, we may sit behind a desk and do our job all day and come home and whatever. When you're a police officer, a firefighter, a soldier, you play a contact sport like football, where guys, get really hurt, like this incident that happened in the Cowboys-Seahawks game where a guy got knocked out and he actually broke some bones in his neck. When you're delivering violence, when violence is the nature of your business, it's really hard not to come home and not have that with you. So when these guys get in these arguments and things like that, they revert back to that. And so while I'm not condoning what he did, I'm just saying I understand why it happened and why it keeps happening in NFL with these football players, and that it's probably not going to stop. That these guys, the nature of their sport is to deliver punishment. And you see it in college campuses all the time. You heard plenty of instances where guys are sexually abusing women and, forcing them to have sex with them and things like that. In college, when you tell guys, especially athletes, that they're the best, they can get anything they want, and then they play a violent sport on top of that. And women, who normally would be, they don't want to have sex with them or anything like that, and they feel like, wait a minute, you're gonna have sex with me. And then they go off and they become violent. And they start, they rape these women. It happens all across America. Every year we see all the sexual abuse cases come up in college campuses for these football players all the time. But no one blows up about that. You notice that, the school gets rid of those kids quick. And the college stuff, that's another story. I'm not going to get into that. But the one thing colleges do right, when that stuff comes up, they get rid of them quick. But the Florida State incident with Jameis Winston, that was an issue I had I know a lot of people didn't want to jump to conclusions and things like that, but on the normal circumstances, a kid is usually suspended until the investigation is completed. Whether they're not allowed to play. They still can go to school and go to class, but they're not allowed to play until the issue's been resolved. They were playing a national title game when this incident came about. It was shady from both sides. We don't know the truth. The only people at this point know the truth are the girl and Jameis Winston. But the fact is Florida State kept him in the national championship game because they had a title to win. If this was during week 3, week 4, they probably would have suspended him for the game, not let him play. But because they were playing for the national title, I'm like, let's let him play. Let's let him play. And that's what it comes down to. Winning has replaced everything in sports. And I'm sick and tired of all these people coming out and saying you need to be a role model for these kids, and you need to be a role model for the kids that watch you on TV and things like that. These athletes owe us nothing as far as being role models to the kids. As a parent, you should be your kid's primary role model. I have plenty of guys I like. I like Deion Sanders, Cal Ripken Jr., Ken Griffey Jr., Jerry Rice, Emmitt Smith, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed. Those are some of the guys I grew up watching that, they were like my favorite players. Michael Jordan, Penny Hardaway. There's plenty of guys, but my dad and my mom are my primary role models. I learned how to be an adult, how to be an upstanding citizen from my parents. I knew the difference. And your kids should know that too. That I'm tired, when these athletes do stuff like that, Greg Hart, I'm not defending him here, but I'm saying, when these athletes do stuff like this, why are you surprised? Like, why are you so shocked that he did something like this? This is the nature of this game. There are plenty of good guys in the NFL. But I also feel like the media doesn't pay attention to the good stories that these guys do. Like Victor Cruz and Russell Wilson. And work done. He's helping a lot of single moms get homes. I feel like they don't pump out enough of those stories. Everybody wants to jump on a Ray Rice and Greg Hardy story or Adrian Peterson story, but no one wants to talk about what these guys are doing outside of the NFL. The good guys of the NFL who are actually doing something positive with their fame and their stardom, doing something right. Darrelle Revis, guys are doing the right thing. But they put us out in front, these guys of Greg Hardy and Ray Rice, and we think these guys are monsters. These guys are just evil. And their thing is, they are good guys. In every walk of life, the NFL is a perfect microcosm of what the world is like. There are good guys and there are bad guys in life. Okay? There are good cops, there are bad cops. There are good firefighters, there are bad firefighters. There are good teachers, there are bad teachers. In every profession that we see, there are good and there's the bad. But we're always highlighted with the bad. In the NFL, in this situation, as an organization that's there to make money, and because it's the Cowboys and Jerry Jones, is a very key part of the NFL machine, they're going to let Jerry handle it. And Jerry's not going to let Greg Hardy, sit down. And, while I may want him to, get out of the league, they don't need guys like that. Usually other companies, when they have people like that, they're gone in an instant. It's like, or at least you're suspended until pending their further investigation. Now with the photos, I guarantee you, every Cowboys game, there's going to be signs up. There'll probably be boos and things like that. The Cowboys don't look good with this. Especially the incident that just happened with Joseph Randle, where they just released him, but they're going to keep Greg Hardy around. It doesn't look good. And it clearly shows with that team right there that they're because if it was Dez Bryant, yeah, he's not going. But if it's Terrence Williams, yeah, we can cut him. Plain and simple. If it's Tony Romo, yeah, you're not gonna cut him. Brandon Whedon, he's gone tomorrow. He was gone 2 seconds ago. It just goes to show you that talent in sports can go a long way with a lot of things. No matter what happens. It just goes to show you. It's not perfect. It's not fair. It really isn't. Guys in the NFL get busted for weed all the time and suspended for 3 or 4 games, but guys go out and abuse women and get suspended for a couple games and get to keep their jobs. It's not right. The NFL, they're hypocrites. It is what it is. But the NFL is not going to look good for this thing again. No, you had a chance to get this guy out of the league, and now he's still in it. The fact that he's still playing just says a lot of how you guys actually care about women in general. That they're not, people to you. They're just another market that I can make money off of. And that's what it comes down to. You see the commercials now. They're just a market that they can make money off of now. That they can capitalize on. They see it's a growing market and make more money on. Until people start taking a stand saying this stuff will not fly anymore, they're allowing guys like this in the league. And I don't care how talented they are. Guys like that don't deserve a place in the NFL. Period. They don't. Like, we have moms, we have sisters, aunts, cousins. We couldn't imagine anybody doing something like that to them. We flip out if we find out guy did that. I don't care what kind of talent he has. A guy like that does not deserve to be in the NFL. Period. People are like, well, you can't get rid of his job and things like that. And other things like that. I'm like, on that note, I will say, fair enough, fair. You don't want to take his livelihood away, but he has to show some kind of remorse, something. I mean, he made jokes. Like I said, he went to talk to Giselle and say, tell the Giselle to watch and tell this other girl to watch and stuff like that. He had no remorse for what he did. Ray Rice, on the other hand, did. Went to the council and the judge ordered him to go to. Has done work with the House of Ruth. Has gone back to doing charity work again. Him and his wife have been out in public and they both admitted they were wrong for what they did. And he's trying to do right. He made a mistake. He's trying to do right. At that point, the guy deserves a second chance because he shows humility. He shows he wants to better himself. Let's give him another shot. That's the whole point of America is second chances. But Greg Hardy has not shown any kind of remorse, any kind of humility towards what the incident that happened. Just kind of walks around like I got away with it. I hate it when people go after Michael Vick today still, for the incident what happened with the pit bulls. Yes, it was a mistake, and he definitely admitted to it. He went to jail. He went to jail for 2 years because of that. He did his time. He's done the work. He's done the community service work. He's done the PSAs. He's done all. And then people still want to put this man down. But yeah, Cowboys fans, I guarantee you're gonna be right behind Greg Hardy all day. It's total shame. A total shame. Here we are. Sports brings out, I've told people, sports can bring out the best and the worst in people. Fans and players alike. And you can see it right now. You're going to see it for the next week or two. That's all I'm going to be talking about. The photos and what the fans are going to say and what the Cowboys are going to do and the NFL is going to do. And you're going to see the true nature of everybody. It's just like, it's about money. It's about winning. It's about the championship. That's all it's about. They'll do about any means necessary. I don't care how bad you are. You need to win. But that's my little spiel, and if you have any comments, please leave them, and or if you want to further this conversation, if you have different views, just let me know, and talk to you guys later. Peace.